Hi class, this is my video for this week's discussion board topic. So this week's discussion board topic is for us to describe the transformation of Judah from Genesis 38 to 45. So in my opinion, this transformation represents a twofold transformation, or a twofold redemption, story of redemption. And so on one side, there's the redemption of a man, just a man on his own. And then there's also the redemption of the lineage that God has selected in order for Christ to be born. And so when the story begins, we have Judah, who is one of the sons of Jacob. And this is the same Judah and the same sons who betrayed their brother and had him sold into slavery. So we already have this kind of flawed and harsh character that we're dealing with. And at the beginning in chapters 38, we see kind of the story goes a little bit deeper into what Judah is up to, and this time Judah has married a Canaanite woman, pretty much kind of like defiling his faith, and he had children with this woman, and all of these things happen where eventually he had a wife for one of his sons, who that son passed away, and he had this woman who he was keeping with him in order to kind of give his sons to her down the lineage, down this line. And as these sons had wickedness and were taken out by God, he had one last son that he had promised to this woman, but for whatever reason, he did not make good on that promise. And so as this woman heard that Judah himself will be coming into town, she disguised herself, and they ended up sleeping with each other, and she conceived a child. And so this was something that was all done just kind of building and showing the character of Judah. We got this guy who he's done this bad thing to his brother, then he's married this Canaanite woman, and then he is, just sleeping with a woman out of nowhere, assuming she was a prostitute. And when he was trying to retrieve some of the items that he had given to her as a holding, kind of payment for him sleeping with her, he wasn't able to retrieve those things. And so when he got word that his daughter-in-law was pregnant and with child, he basically was like, hey, she should be burned. Okay, so when that happened, she presented the things that she had in order to show that, hey, I was the person that you slept with. I was the person that you conceived this child. And there is where we see the beginning, the start of the redemption for Judah. Because in that moment, Judah basically says, she is more righteous than I, in Genesis 38:26. And so that's kind of the mark of his awareness and kind of the transformation that starts to take place. Now, after that part of the story, we go back into the story of Joseph and all of the things that he does as Potiphar's assistant, and becoming the Lord of all of these things. But eventually there becomes this encounter where Joseph knows that his brothers he knows who his brothers are, but they don't know who he is. And that's when we truly see the transformation that has taken place with Judah. Because in that moment, we see that Judah is willing to sacrifice himself in order for his brother to be able to be returned to his father, their youngest brother. He couldn't stand for his father to lose another son. And so he was willing to sacrifice himself in order for his youngest brother to be returned. And that act of selflessness really awakened Joseph, and it caused Joseph to tell his brothers who he was, and to kind of come clean with what he had been hiding, and then also to provide for them and to take care of them. And it really solidified the repair in their relationship as a family. But not only did it do that, but it also repaired a fracture for what would become this lineage, or what would continue to become this lineage that would come the birth of Christ.